Alright, this is part 5, 68 Shelby GT500KR convertible. When I finished putting all the screws in, just to make sure it's all fitting up correctly, got the valance mounted, and still got a little work to do there. You can see that the valance isn't fitting very well there. The bolt doesn't line up very good. Over here it's real good. Fits up fine. So got that done. Went ahead and cleaned up the floor pans and went ahead and painted them the red oxide primer. I got a few little spots. I still got to put that one muffler support brace in, and a few other little pieces to do on the floor. I got to do something with that floor pan, the seat floor pan and seat pan. I got to weld that in. It was whoever, when they modified it to put all that sheet pop rivet stuff in, they cut that bracket. Now it's too short, so I have to cut that back and weld a new one in. And I'm working on the front cowl, trying to clean it up. I need to get some paint brushes so I'm gonna just use paint stripper to get the rest of the paint off in front. And then I'm working on getting ready to weld these shock tower supports in. That's my setup there. I got it all clamped up, ready to weld it, and then I'll heat that up and bend it around, and then spot weld it to the other side of the shock tower. So that's another project I'm working on. Hopefully I'll get that. And then I also got the frame numbers stamped in it. I made a jig up to do that and bought some metal stamps, and this one came out pretty good. You can't see it from the reflection, but it's pretty legible. The first one I did, it didn't come out very well. I should have cleaned the paint up better on that one. And then the one over here on the battery apron, when I first did the jig moved, and you can see when the jig moved, it skewed the numbers a little bit. Still legible, but you won't see it anyway because it'll be under the fender. I still got to do seam sealer on this side. I haven't done that yet. Get that all seam sealed up. But I really want to get these shock tower supports put in place and see how that project's going to go. I'm hoping I can just heat that up with my torch and bend that right around, and hopefully it'll be tight against the shock tower. Then I'll just weld it on the shock tower. So that's the next step. So rear axle's out of it, and been cleaning up underneath. I got somebody who's going to buy that on Craigslist. I'm also selling the engine and transmission for it. He's buying that as well. So, and I also got the Thunderbird engine running. Started right up. Just hot wired the coil to the battery and put some gas down the throat, and she fired right over. So I'm really tickled to death about that. So that's where we are. This is part 5. It's a little short one, and but just thought I'd show you where we are at this point in this car build, and that's it. Okay, now that I've gotten the engine started on the Thunderbird, I need to it ran great, but I need it to run longer so I can check the transmission out. So I'm rebuilding the carburetor, took all the parts out of it, soaked them really good, and so that's done. And the other thing I finished working on was the first strut tower support brace. I got that in there, welded it along the original seam, and then heated it up, and then bent it against the firewall or the shock tower, and then spot welded it in 5 places into the shock tower. So that worked out well. So I got the next one prepped. I still got to grind the edge on the shock tower part of it. So I'll work on that. That's the next one in, and then I got 2 more to go after that. So it takes about I don't know, 3-4 hours each. So it's quite the task to do, but certainly well worth it because of the engine that's going in here. It's going to need all the help it can get to keep it strong. So anyhow, that's where we are. So this is the end of part 4. Well, got it running. It goes into gear. Goes into all gears. So we got a motor or an engine. Right now I'm just flushing out the engine block with some uric acid to get the inside of the engine a little cleaner. I put it in drive, put it in first, second, reverse, everything works. So awesome. Power steering works. It's all original plugs that were in it when I got it, so obviously it needs a tune-up. I'm going to get that carburetor rebuilt as well, because I rebuild it, but something's wrong with the jets on it, so I need to fix that. So the next thing I need to do is go ahead and change the oil in it, and run it with new oil in it for a while. But just a little blow by, but that'll work out after you run it for a while. So anyhow, that's what we got. Well, I'm getting rid of the Thunderbird today. Engine's out of it, and picked it pretty clean. Got a lot of parts off of it for eBay. Took the front spindles off of it. because they're disc brakes and they're 68s. Not much in there, it's all gone. Spindles off on this side too. So it's pretty well shot. So it's going away. Going away. Took a few parts. I took the speedometer and stuff to get gauge cluster out because I got the, you know, somebody can use the parts. The cluster itself's not any good, but somebody can use the parts. Put it on eBay, but it's totally gone. Bumper's probably good, but I'm not going to mess with it. I want it gone so I can clean this area up. So anyway, that's it for the 1968 Thunderbird. She gone. And I'm working on cleaning the engine up on it right now, so once we get that going, I'll give you a little sneak preview of it. Ooh. Anyway, this is it. It's 1968 429 Thunderjet. It's got a C6 transmission in it. It's got one dove head and one original head. The original head, you can see where it was painted. And this one here, that's a dove head off of a 70 or 71. But it's got the stamp. It was the numbers matching car. That's the VIN off of it. And then it's numbers matching on the transmission. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the transmission. Not very good. Camera doesn't want to focus. So, working on getting that clean. I got the exhaust manifolds off. Broke one bolt trying to get those off, but got to get those cleaned up and painted. Those are the front spindles. And I haven't done a lot to the car right now, but I'll get into that in the next video. So right now I'm trying to I'll get the engine bay. I want to try to get this engine fitted in there and everything. So that's the big next step. But I got to get all the parts on it. I'm changing out the timing chain, water pump, oil pump, transmission filter. I got to change the position on the shifter. This shifter was a column shift, so the linkage on the column shifter is down, and so that's actually in drive, but here it should be opposite. So I bought that part, but I got to take the transmission apart to get that piece in there. So it's getting there. This was broken off, so I tapped that, fixed that. But I got to pull the timing cover off. I can't find my wheel puller. I don't know what the hell happened to that. So anyway, I got to find that. But anyway, it's getting there. So I can't wait to get done with the grease. Grease is just god awful. So anyway, that's it for this one. Okay, now that I've gotten the engine started on the Thunderbird, I need to, it ran great, but I need it to run longer so I can check the transmission out. So I'm rebuilding the carburetor, took all the parts out of it, soaked them really good, and so that's done. And the other thing I finished working on was the first strut tower support brace. I got that in there, welded it along the original seam, and then heated it up, and then bent it against the firewall or the shock tower, and then spot welded it in 5 places into the shock tower. So that worked out well. So I got the next one prepped. I still got to grind the edge on the shock tower part of it. So I'll work on that. That's the next one in, and then I got 2 more to go after that. So it takes about I don't know, 3-4 hours each. So it's quite the task to do, but certainly well worth it because the engine that's going in here, it's going to need all the help it can get to keep it strong. So anyhow, that's where we are. So this is the end of part 4.